friends. What's up, Danny? Hello, Leah. I'm just literally sitting in the dark in my living room. I got the Christmas tree over here. The TV's behind you. My laptop is kind of lighting up. If you don't want spoilers to Stranger Things, don't watch the reflection in the window because that's what's playing on the TV right now. Thank you, Danny. I'm wide awake. I'm like, fuck it, why don't I just go live? But I really should be going to bed soon. I really should. But let's just chat for a little while. How's everybody doing? How was everybody's Christmas? Was it the best day ever? Did we all get what we wanted? It was very good, Danny. It was very good. I cooked dinner. I cooked. So it was busy. It was really busy. But it was, I love Christmas time. Just like I love Halloween. So it was a good day. We were sick, so we had a chill day and open presents. Oh, I'm sorry you were sick on Christmas. That seems like a crime. That sucks. Well, I intend that you feel better immediately. What's up, Eric? How are you doing? What can I work on if my SP never buys me anything? You work on you? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you really? Do you really want to continue believing in that about your specific person? Is that really the story you want to tell? Are you really attached to that? I think of it as cobwebs. When we have stories, entanglements, when we believe in, let's say past experiences, they're just cobwebs that you are, I'm about to say deliberately, but I'm going to reword that to probably out of habit due to your conditioning. We've all been conditioned with this, for what it's worth. That you have to keep dragging along the story, the memory, the past experience with you. And really all you're doing is re-identifying with it, re-identifying with it, re-identifying with it over and over and over and over and over. And that's who you believe you are. That's who you really believe you are in this now moment. But you don't have to be. And here's what I'm not saying. You got to fix your self-concept. You got to fix what's wrong with you. You got to go figure out the belief of why you believe your specific person doesn't buy you things. You ain't got to do any of that. You need to wake up. Wake up. Who are you? Who do you really believe you are? Take a step back from your perceived reality and observe. Who are you? What's the instantaneous thought that comes to your mind when I ask you, who are you? For most of us, we'll just immediately think of this tiny part of us. So, for example, Kimberly. Kimberly, with all her past experiences, who she believes, I could say who she believes her family is, who she believes her friends are, what she believes, okay, this has been my work history. This has been, my educational history, blah, 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 blah. It's all cobwebs of entanglement. They're not bad. We don't have to immediately say goodbye to everything we know about ourselves. I'm just saying there's choice in what you know about yourself because you're God. Your source. You're all there is, literally. So what should you do if your SP isn't showing up the way you want? You remember who you are. And quite simply, choose differently. Right now, choose differently. But see, what most people do is they'll hear that and they'll think, yeah, I'm God. Yeah, I know, I'm God. But now what? Because reality looks the same. Reality hasn't changed. No. You still know yourself to be the you that doesn't believe the reality can change, will change, has changed. You're just re-identifying with it. But don't hear that as a criticism. Don't hear that as, oh my God, I got something more to fix. No. Wake up. Come to the now. Who are you now? Because there's only ever now. And I don't mean now as in present, as in past, present, future. I mean now. There's only ever now. Think about that. At every now moment, whether we are being intentional, whether we're being aware, whether we're being deliberate, we are knowing ourself as a someone, a version of ourselves, and we always hop right to identity. I'm saying before you hop to identity, who are you? Who's that? God. Flawless, limitless God. Flawless, limitless means perfection, whole, nothing to fix, nothing to heal, whole, complete, now. Everything else, every single thing that you have experienced, perceived, are just conditions, layers, but they're all optional. So in this moment, you know yourself as God, so know yourself to be, we could say, a version of yourself that experience being, you got to find the words that mean something to you regarding your specific person and how they're showing up, how they're treating you. You have to decide this is who you are. And there's nothing else to do. So where most people in manifestation get tripped up is the ever feeling of there's something more to do. Because reality looks the same, so there's something more to do. It hasn't worked yet. Nothing's changed. No. In that moment, that's who you are knowing yourself to be. And it's completely within your control, your power to be aware, to know differently. To know who you are as God, as source. That is everything. And that is the only thing that we ever need to do to manifest, which sounds like the total opposite of what the majority of people in the manifestation community talk about. So I know that that can be very confusing and frustrating. And to everyone's defense, let me just say, everyone's evolving. They talk and preach and teach from their own level of understanding. And that's not a dig. That's just my perception. Wake up. We walk around and feeling like there's shadows around us, shadows behind us. There's no shadows. There's no real entanglements. There's no real stories. There's only ever now. Does that make sense? You can't fix, you can't heal something that's already flawless, limitless. There's nothing more absolute than the absolute, and that's who you are. But only you can know that for yourself. Only you can. And it doesn't matter what anybody else believes and thinks, preaches, doesn't matter. It only matters what you know. And again, I'm not talking based on your feelings, emotions, or even your thoughts. Those are experiences, right? You are the totality of everything consciousness, of everything I am, everything. Most people manifesting a specific person get so fucking attached to 3D reality and how their specific person is showing up. That is that person knowing themselves to be that. I am the person who is a specific person who isn't showing up the way they want. I am. Think about it. In every now moment, it's I am or I am not. And I don't mean that the I am not means there's something more to do. It's waking up out of the loop of thinking there's something to do. That's the paradox. That's the quicksand that people get stuck in. There's nothing to do but know. Really think about that. Really ponder that. And everything else is an excuse. Everything else is another story. Everything else is another limit. So anything manifestation related, if you hear that there is something to do, something to achieve in order to have the life you want, in one respect, that's your own manifestation of the permission to know who you are. So I like to think of it as ego coming through the back door again. We can know ourselves as the I am, and in that same second think, okay, but now what? Now what? Yes, I know, I am. I am God. I am source. But now what? But now what? Because I don't see anything different in reality. That's just a new identity. That's just a new you. That's one of the infinite versions of you. Knowing itself as I am, but still questioning reality. See what I mean? Ego coming through the back door. There are even, let's say, there's people out there talking about this right now who know themselves as God and are feeling, you can see in their content, they're on top of the world, they're on top of life right now. But they're still very much attached. Ego coming through the back door. You just have to wake up and to know that you know your source. And in every moment that you feel or think otherwise, or when we're questioning reality, think of it as if you're getting entangled, we're back to questioning, you don't know. So in other words, I am not. So come back to the knowing. And you might have to remember more than once. That doesn't mean you suck at this. It just means you needed a reminder. And you will see that as you truly know yourself as source, all the things, all of the experiences that, maybe you're all consciously manifesting right now, you're going to see that they're all going to come in naturally. And all you ever needed, if there was something to do, all you ever needed to do was wake up and know right now who you are. That's it. That's it. And that can seem wildly too good to be true. But it's only too good to be true to the person who doesn't know their source. Right? There's intellectually knowing versus knowing. Knowing, internally knowing. And ego will immediately make you doubt yourself. Maybe that's all. Oh, I love SpongeBob. Ego will immediately throw you something like, how do I know that's not me? Maybe it's me. I just intellectually know and I don't really know. No, that's ego coming through the back door. That's all. Your source. The next thing I see people getting hung up on is, okay, but I don't feel any different. I don't feel any different. I still feel like me. So therefore, I must be doing something wrong. Nope. All of you is I am. All of you is source. So anybody who tells you that there is some special feeling that comes with knowing yourself as source, there you go. There's your evidence that that person telling you that is stuck in an identity of being awake, knowing themselves as source, but believing there's a certain feeling. That's another identity. That's ego coming through the back door again. See what I mean? Thank you. Oh my God, I didn't realize I missed so many. Sorry, I'm talking my balls off. How about when you are in a very dark place, but you still want to manifest? First of all, it doesn't matter where you are in your life. You're manifesting. So you can be in the most dark place emotionally, mentally, and still manifest. Your emotions and feelings do not prevent you from manifesting anything. That whole idea that, let's say, spiraling, right? Because that's probably the most common thing that gets talked about when it comes to our emotions and feelings, spiraling. That's one of the most popular things that gets labeled as, well, that's not good. I mean, like if you're spiraling all the time, that's not good. You're not going to be able to manifest. No, that's that individual person's personal belief, their limit. There is nothing that can get in the way of you manifesting, but only you can know that. See what I mean? And by the way, you want to know when that came to me? That came to me over 3 years ago while I was in the middle of a spiral. Thank you so much. While I was literally in the middle of a spiral, that knowing came to me. It doesn't fucking matter that I'm spiraling. I mean, I know they don't feel good, and I'm not trying to say, ooh, spiral your balls off. No, because it's uncomfortable. It's not fun. But that's when I'm going to say my true awakening happened. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that I feel like shit. It doesn't matter that I'm in a shitty mood today. It doesn't fucking matter that maybe I cried all weekend over my specific person. None of that matters, but only I can know that for myself. So like I can sit here and keep telling you that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. But only you can know that, or I could look at it as, or you could look at it as, give yourself permission to know that it doesn't fucking matter. But I'm telling you, it doesn't fucking matter. So I'm imagining, because to me, hearing someone's in a dark place, when I hear that, I equate that to, you're not in the greatest of, let's say, feeling modes right now. And that sucks. Because feeling good just fucking feels better, doesn't it? So whatever that dark place is for you, there is absolutely a way out. And that way out can be instantaneously right now if you would let yourself. Because you're source. You're God. And if I were you, I wouldn't look at you being in a dark place as holding you back from the life you want, because it's not. It only is if you believe that it is. Do you see what I mean? Do you see the paradox in that? Again, this is my personal opinion. My experience with manifestation was I went on a fucking journey. Mine started with law of attraction, and I moved and evolved through, I'm going to call it levels of consciousness. So mine felt like a journey, but not everybody's going to have that fucking journey. Not everybody is going to, and not everybody has to. So your dark place right now could be the exact moment that you wake up to the true understanding, to the true knowing that you're source, where you come to the full knowing that there was never anything for you to actually do but to become aware of being source and letting all the sludge fall off of you. I'm going to tell you that happened for me over 3 years ago, and it was the most liberating moment in my life. And then very shortly after, my entire world changed for the better. And my little liberating moment, my world was on fire. Everything looked like it was falling apart for me. So was I in a dark place? You bet your ass I was. And I wasn't being sarcastic when I said that, all of this happened to me in the middle of a spiral. So don't believe that I have to go through the process of working my way out of this dark spot in my life. No, you don't. This can be instantaneous for you if you'd let it be. Your source. Limitless, flawless source. Sometimes I think it's fun to kind of look at everything like we are like playing the game, The Matrix, like the movie, The Matrix. And like everything around us is like an illusion, but inside a video game. Because this is a fun way of looking at it. So think about it. You're the one running the video game. And you created the video game. And you're also the one sitting with the controller to the video game. You're all of it. You're all parts of it. So that perceived dark moment, think of that as just a level in the video game. It's time to rise up to the next level. You conquer the game. You win the game by realizing you're inside the game. Do you see what I mean? And from there, it's knowing who you are. Right? What character are you in the game? I prefer to say, what version of you? And remember, I think what most people get fucked up with is they outsource their I am. For instance, manifesting a specific person. I'll believe that I'm loved, adored, chosen. I'll believe that that's who I am when specific person shows up and behaves and acts in a certain way that allows me to believe that I'm loved, adored, and chosen. That's outsourcing I am. You can know that now because you're source. You're all of it. You're everything. So we're not waiting on a specific person to show up a certain way. No, that's putting power in someone else's hands to a game that they're stuck in and waiting on your instructions for. So the wrong person is walking around with the powers, the level ups. The wrong person is doing it. It's got to be you. And the only way to really control the game is to wake up to the fact that it's a game. Kind of like a lucid dream, right? You ever had a lucid dream? While you're experiencing the dream, you wake up, but now I don't mean wake up. You wake up inside the dream and you know you're in a dream. You ever have that experience? I have them all the time. Same idea. That's all any of this is. And we're so conditioned to think that it's on the outside of us when it's not. It's on the inside. But I know that can make us feel cuckoo, but it's within our consciousness. So yeah, it doesn't matter where you are in life. Doesn't matter what emotions and feelings and thoughts you're having in life. Your source. And you literally can be, do, and have anything you want. But only you can give it to yourself. How do you give it to yourself? You wake up and know that you're source. That you're it now. Right now. How do I release the broke mindset money-wise? Why do you believe you have a broke mindset money-wise? Where is that idea coming from? So let's say, for example, maybe you're thinking of like circumstances. Maybe there's been certain experiences you have that you look at those experiences and you perceive that as, well, those are bad. Those are bad experiences. I believe in manifestation, so therefore I must have a belief that's holding me hostage or holding my subconscious hostage. All of that is stories and entanglements. What if there was never that belief to begin with? What if hearing you have to heal or dig out beliefs from your subconscious mind was nothing but your own manifestation permission slip? Because maybe at the time you weren't ready to accept that you were source, and you don't have to accept that you have the belief at all. You're God. So what if they never really existed? What if the experiences you've had already are just one out of the infinite possibilities because you're God? Think of it as every now moment, like this now moment that you and I are interacting in. Think of reality. And again, reality is being experienced within our consciousness, but for the sake of explaining this, I'm going to talk about it as if it's on the outside, just to make it simpler. Think about it as in this now moment, you know yourself to be source. And from there, it's knowing yourself to be the who you want to be. How do you know yourself to be who you want to be? When you know your source, from there, how could we believe and accept that there's any limits within ourselves? I'm saying, you're God. Does God have shitty money beliefs? Doesn't have to, but that's a story, right? That's an experience. So think of, in this moment, when you ask that question, think of reality materializing around you and recalibrating itself around you, because in this new now moment, that's who you believed you were or you are. So reality recalibrates. And think of it as recalibrating every now moment. So can you imagine if you knew and accepted that the totality of who you are is source now? So in my definition, that would give me the knowing that none of the, let's say, the limited beliefs that you thought you had, they don't exist anymore. You are awake to knowing you're God. You're the best you've ever been. Think of it like that. You couldn't be any better with money, your source. Think of as you know yourself as that in this now moment. Think of reality recalibrating itself around you. Every now moment is I am or I am not. I am or I am not. I am not. We're doing it from moment to moment to moment to moment to moment. Outside of knowing who you are in this now moment, there is nothing else to do to change beliefs, to change who you are. There's nothing outside of that. Everything else you hear is just someone else's perceived experiences, perceived opinions, ideas. But that doesn't make them yours. So what if there was nothing you had to do but to know your source? Your source. You're the creator of money. You're the creator of everything. And if creation is already finished, how could you be someone with shitty money beliefs? How could that be if your source? Do you see what I mean? And when I say you're doing this every moment to moment to moment, you are. And sometimes it just doesn't seem like that's what we're thinking from moment to moment to moment to moment, but we are. You being on your phone and clicking on this live stream, you were knowing yourself to be someone as you clicked in. You were knowing yourself as someone, as a version of yourself when you picked up your phone. But only you can know and accept who you are. Only you can. Think about anything else about yourself that you just know. That you just know it. And if somebody told you differently, you wouldn't accept it. You'd be like, fuck no, that's not true. Like, if somebody told me that I had blue eyes. Well, I know myself to be someone with green eyes. So if somebody told me I had blue eyes, I'd be like, no, I don't. And that wouldn't bother me. That wouldn't ignite an emotion. But their perspective of me saying I have blue eyes when I know that I don't, that has no effect on me at all. That can't change anything for me at all. I have green eyes. That's who I know myself as. I have green eyes. I'm source. I have green eyes. Your source. Who are you in your money area? Who are you? You've probably known yourself to be someone with shitty money beliefs. But you've had the power to erase that all along. By knowing, by choosing, by deciding that that's no longer true for you. That's no longer true. And your willingness to just accept that it's no longer true. Money is an energy that loves you. Money follows you everywhere. Money loves to be around you. That's who you are. And you know that. And you accept that. Done. Reality starts recalibrating around you. But again, reality is within you, not outside of you. But I'm just wording it that way to make it easier to understand. Do you see what I mean? Does that make sense? How do you buy in, though? It feels like it is just something that needs to click. That's you believing that. You're knowing that. This is why I said earlier, like, this can sound way too good to be true. Like, there's got to be something more to it. Why? Why? What is the reason that you believe that something more has to click? That there has to be something more to it? Why? And think about all the little reasons that are coming up into your mind right now. Ego coming through the back door. All there is now. Come to the now. Be still and know that I am God. Now. It's nothing more than that. This can sound very non-duality too, which I'm very aware of. But I wouldn't say I'm necessarily, I'm not for, I'm not against. I just know that I am. See what I mean? Yes. That is a perfect description. Ego is the little voice of not letting go. Perfect description. I want a loving relationship. Then who are you? I found this on the web. Thanks, Siri. But I don't need your services right now. So pug mom and boy mom, who do you know yourself to be right now? Are you someone that can accept and know that you are that? That can be true for you? That all you need to know is that's who you are in order to experience that? And I don't even mean that in a perceived unfolding of you getting that. I don't even mean that. Because even that, it can be a limitation if you really think about it. Can you know yourself to be a person in a loving, fulfilling, committed relationship without going so logical? The reason why I brought up the whole unfolding thing is because isn't that the ego's most perfect logical explanation of why it's not here yet? Oh, I'm experiencing an unfolding because that makes logical sense to us. And I was Mrs. Loving the idea of the unfolding. So, I'm holding myself accountable to that. I don't anymore. I think that that's our ego. We could say the rational mind will always try to make logical sense of something that is not logical. Same reasoning that, people want to make manifestation linear, and it's not linear. That's what's fucking people up, is the idea of it having to be logical and having to be linear. And that's why you're fucking stuck and you don't have the things you want. And I don't mean you, my friend, pug mom, boy mom. I don't mean you. I'm just saying like the perceived you out there in the vertical. Do you get what I mean? No matter how any of this delivered, only the person on the other end of the delivery can accept who they really are. I can think of myself as an example of how long I too was manifesting a loving, fulfilling, committed relationship. And how long I went through the motions of telling myself that's who I am, and in the same fucking breath saying, but it's not here yet. But I'm experiencing the unfolding. It's not here yet, but I'm experiencing the unfolding. This is the unfolding. It's the unfolding to it. And not that there's anything wrong with using that terminology. There's really nothing wrong with anything. It's just all our own perceptions and beliefs and the meanings we give it. But who was I really believing and accepting I was? I was really accepting that I was the version of myself who didn't have it yet. I wasn't her yet. And for anybody just listening to this, if you're newer to manifestation, this is not the fear of using future tense or past tense words. It's not at all what I'm saying. That's a very logical perception of it, though. If you're in the now moment, and we're always in the now moment, whether we're aware of being in the now moment is a different conversation. You're in the now moment. Who are you? Are you the you that's still waiting for it to unfold? Or can you know yourself as source or know yourself as God right now? Or I am right now? Can you do that? Can you accept that? Can you accept that right now in this moment that you are the you that already has that relationship without the logical mind making you feel like it's not here yet, bitch. It's not here yet. You don't have that yet. You can't say that yet. That's not real for you yet, right? Let's say, I don't know if you're manifesting a guy or girl. I'll just say guy for now. He's not sitting next to you right now. So it's not true for you yet. You can't say that yet. No, that's ego coming through the back door. That's the rational part of you, the rational side of you. It's the ego mind trying to get you to come back to logical land and be logical, be literal, be realistic. And that's what keeps us in the cobwebs, the sticky ass cobwebs sticking to us, untangling us. Gotta wake up. As you wake up, as you come back to the now, and remember who you are. Source. Boom, boom, boom. All the cobwebs start falling off of you. You don't even have to brush them off. They start melting off. Everything is right now. Everything is. Most of us, until we wake up to understanding and accepting the now, we, again, and I mean this in the nicest terms because I was doing this too, we walk around, we do our manifestation techniques. Yes, I'm embodying the version of myself in a loving, fulfilling, committed relationship. That's who I am. I am her now. But secretly, I'm really waiting for it to show up. I'm waiting for the unfolding because I don't really think it's here right now. That's the truth. It's not. I don't see it here right now. But no, I'm being the version of myself in a loving, fulfilling, committed relationship. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm following what I have as the perceived rules of manifestation. I'm doing that. And I'm in a good mood today. I feel good about it. I am that version of me now. But I really don't believe that because it's not fucking here yet. How much longer am I going to have to do this? I think that's what most people are doing from moment to moment to moment to moment because that's what I was doing. Until it clicked, like I forgot who asked about the click earlier. Until it just clicked. Oh my God. That's who I believe I am in the now moment is I'm waiting for it. That's who I am now. Because I was what? I was viewing conscious manifestation as an unfolding, a literal, logical, linear unfolding. And it's none of that. You're in the vertical. The now is vertical. Again, for just the sake of making it easier to understand, in the vertical, think of everything moving around you. Reality is moving around you, materializing, rearranging around you. You're in the middle of it, in that vertical. And in your now moment, who you know yourself to be is where you look in awareness. Get it? So that's what materializes around you. What you're aware of. So what was I aware of? I was aware of I'm embodying the version of myself in a loving, fulfilling, committed relationship. That's who I am. But in here secretly thinking, but it's not here yet. I don't have it yet. It's not really here yet. But I'm doing what I understand. I'm doing what I'm told, right? By the rules of manifestation. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing what I'm told. So that's who I am. So where'd my awareness land? It landed in the place of viewing reality as she's still waiting. It's not here yet. Oh, but don't worry. I'm not thinking negatively. I'm thinking I'm living the unfolding. So I'm still good, right? By the standards of manifestation land, I'm still good because I feel good about it. I know it's the unfolding. I know it's going to happen. I believe it's going to happen. I feel good about that. But that's who I was aware of being. Do you see? Do you see my fuckery? Do you see? I really wasn't knowing myself as her. I was knowing myself as the her waiting. Viewing the unfolding in front of me. See what I'm trying to say? If you're aware of the now, there is no fucking unfolding. It's now. You're it now. So when we get ourselves upset, don't see what we want in reality, at least we don't think we do. We see. We think we see the opposite happening, blah, 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 blah. No. That's who you are deciding you are in the now. So reality materializing all around you, moving and shaking, rearranging to that. So come back to the now. Come back to now. I'm hoping this is making sense. How the fuck do we get ourselves out of that then? Get ourselves out of what? Out of the waiting? Out of viewing the unfolding? Can you be more specific? Well, you know what? You don't even need to be more specific because pretty much every answer is going to be come now, right now. Who do you know yourself as right now? So say, for example, say you're, I don't know, let's say manifesting a specific person. Okay. So in this moment, you're aware that you're manifesting a relationship. You're manifesting to be, in a loving, fulfilling, committed relationship, like I would have said. The moment you say that, what does the ego then say? It's not here yet. You don't have it yet. You can't be there yet. That doesn't make sense. You're not there yet. You don't see it yet. That's where you are now. So for me, the visual I get as I step back outside of that. So it's like viewing myself from a distance, accepting that that's where I've been, and come back to now. Come back to the center, your source, your God. Who are you? Who are you in this now moment? I shouldn't even say now moment. Who are you now? Do you think there's anything more to do for you to experience the life you want? Is there something more to do? And if any part of you is thinking or saying yes, then do you see that that is who you believe you are in the now? Does it make sense to you that you're just limitless source? Does that make sense? Is that acceptable? No, I don't think there's anything more that I need to do, but I'm in the habit of doing it. Okay, of doing what? It's not always easy, but when upset, stop and say, nope, breathe, regulate, it's done. Is that correct? Okay. I'm assuming you're meaning coming back to the now. So, breathe, regulate, it's done. Did you feel like you needed to do that to come back to the now? Or are you overthinking it? Because your way to come back to center, to come back to the now, might be different than my way. Might be different than the person sitting next to us here watching the live stream. I mean it with every fiber of this physical meat sack, that this really is individual, unique to each person. So what is right for you might not be right for me, vice versa. And when you know yourself as source, as God, you don't need someone else's permission to know if you're doing what is right for you. Do you see what I mean? So everything you just said, there's nothing wrong with those. But that word regulate stands out to me. And the only reason why that stands out to me is because I am aware of nervous system regulation talk being a part or being mixed in to the manifestation community, which is someone else's perceived idea of something that has to be achieved in order to manifest. And I say so happily, fuck that entirely. That's that person's limit, because it's not true. See what I mean? I'm live on TikTok, but it's faced towards me, so they don't see you walking around in your long underwear. Did you get called in? No, but you're gonna. Yeah, I figured. That's why I had the door closed upstairs. Sorry, my boyfriend just woke up because he's gonna get called into work. Whenever we have terrible weather, he gets called into work. So, and I want to say too to Brit Brat ASMR, I want you to know that I don't want you to feel like I was just picking you apart and making, splitting hairs with you on coming back to center. I don't want you to feel that way, because that's not my intention. I do want to release anybody who thinks that there's a number of steps to do. I just want to shed that for everyone. That's all. Does robotic affirmations hinder us? I'm thinking how to nicely answer this. And not lost on me that immediately under yours is the question, what do you think about robotic affirmations? All right. I don't hate any technique, but there is no one who could pay me enough money to get me to robotically affirm. Let me just word it like that. There's nothing that could get me to robotically affirm, because it's just not who I am. It's not my vibe. So no, I don't love them. Do I think they hinder you? They could, but they don't have to. It's all relative to who you know yourself to be. If you know that you're God, and you really accept that, and you know that to be true, would you have to robotically affirm? Like, can you imagine Jesus hanging out wherever Jesus hung out and robotically affirming? Or did he just command? So knowing our consciousness is Christ consciousness, right? You don't have to believe in Jesus. I'm just bringing that up as an example. Christ consciousness. When you know that you know, right? There's like I said earlier, there's a difference between intellectually knowing versus knowing. That your source? Would you need to robotically affirm for anything? No. Because when you know, you know. Just like I use that example of, I know my eyes are green. I just know it. No one can tell me differently. I don't have to tell myself robotically, I have green eyes, 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 I have green eyes. No, I know I do. I know who I am. So whatever it is you're manifesting, do you know that's who you are? And if the answer is no, and it's perfectly okay if the answer is no, the answer is no, does robotically affirming it help you to know it? And they might. That's why I said they could hinder you, and they don't have to hinder you. They can be helpful. If any techniques help you to accept and know that you are who you say you are, then they're perfectly harmless. Right? They're harmless. They can be helpful. They're tools. But that's all they are, is tools. And they are not required. Now, I also am very aware of the scale thinking, because I used to think this way too, that, you know, we shouldn't just throw out the idea of talking about different techniques because there's some people who are brand new to manifestation. So just knowing themselves to be God might not be for everybody. I'm aware of that. But I also don't want to sit here and be willfully expecting people to take forever to understand who they are. I want to think the best for them, that they don't have to go on the long ass journey that I went on. See what I'm saying? So I'm only prefacing it with that to say that I don't dislike techniques, but when you put it into perspective, that it all centers around, what do you know to be true about you? And what if I told you that I want you to tell me who you are, and you can't look out to the 3D and tell me past experiences to define who you are? How would you define yourself then? So it's learned, it's conditioned, changeable. So do you need robotic affirmations to get you to know? And if you do, then continue using them. And no, I wouldn't say they hinder you. See what I mean? I always thought it was to impress my subconscious with it. Let me just tell you, Liz, so the fuck didn't I? When I first started I started at least posting content on YouTube in 2020. I came to TikTok after the fact. I thought that too. Oh my God, did I believe that, by the way? Oh, like so inherently. And I would have argued with anybody that has to happen. You must impress your subconscious mind. You must heal your traumas. You must dig out your terrible beliefs and put in new beliefs. You must. Yeah, no, that's a belief. That is something we learned and are conditioned with and accepted as true because that seemed plausible. That made logical sense, didn't it? It made sense. No, that was somebody else throwing out the idea that this is what we must do because it makes logical sense to something that's not logical. So, at least from everybody's got their own experiences, right? From my own experience, that stopped making sense to me. And the more I questioned it, the more I saw the holes in it. And then when I moved on from there, embodiment made the most sense to me. A key word, sense. It made the most sense to me. There was still a level of trying to make conscious manifestation seem logical and linear. So I started seeing the holes in that too. And by the way, to anybody else, maybe you're seeing holes in things right now, and maybe that's why you're here at this live stream, because we're going to talk about that. It's coming up. It's your reflection. It's not a bad thing to start questioning things that you hear in the manifestation community. That's not a bad thing. You're meant to keep transcending. You are, right? We're not meant to hit a level and plateau and stay there. We're meant to keep rising in consciousness. So that's how I view it, Liz, is that's all the rising in consciousness. That was my experience. Obviously, maybe you're experiencing something similar where you're questioning that. Again, why do we believe in the conscious versus the subconscious? Why do we just so easily, readily accept that? If someone cut open the meat sack and looked at the brain, there is no section that says, oh, this little part here, that's the subconscious part. No, they're words. They're words that we've just accepted as true. Now, we could say, well, yeah, lots of scientists, we'll say medical doctors, psychologists, they've done their due diligence, they've done their work, they've studied. I know they have. But it doesn't mean what they've studied is absolute. Nothing is absolute other than source. Nothing is. Everything is questionable. Which starts, for me anyway, opening holes. Makes me start questioning more and more and more. And the more I questioned, the more I leaned away from that thinking about the having to impress the subconscious mind, the less it made sense. And the more I realized I wasn't doing that. I was not doing other techniques to cut through beliefs. However, I could see it was my decision. It was a decision. I came to the decision that I didn't have to do that. And it worked. Well, of course it did. Because I accepted that. I accepted that with conviction. So if there is truth to the conscious versus the subconscious, well, what's the language of the subconscious? Conviction. The conscious mind rules the subconscious mind, but that's not how we're taught in this community. But even Ernest Holmes said that. The conscious mind dictates, feeds, what's the word I'm using? Directs the subconscious mind. It gives the orders to the subconscious, and the subconscious does its job based on our level of conviction. Right? Holes, more holes. So I don't think that there is sincerely anything to do other than waking up out of the game, the matrix, the illusion, waking up out of all of this and knowing yourself as God, source, universe, whatever your personal belief is. There's nothing more absolute than that. And bearing in mind, our human minds can't really even perceive the totality of what God is either. When you think about it. Is people reflecting themselves of just about me? Like they are my reflection. From your perspective in reality, yes. Of you. And who you are. Who you believe yourself. Okay, so let's break this down to, all right, we're aware, we accept that we are source. You've accepted that there's nothing else to do but to just know that. All right, and so then let's say if there was a next step, well, maybe that next step for you is, all right, well, I want to manifest these certain things in these areas of my life. That's what you know. You want those things. So I would say to you, so then know that. Know and accept that that's you. That's your normal life to just have all of those things. Know that right now. From there, if you've accepted you, right? The totality of you, you've accepted this. This is who I am now. Not I will be. now. I am that now. Or I am that I am now. Everything you're experiencing, every person you're intermingling with is the reflection of that. But if hearing that makes you have like the world on your shoulders, like it's your fault if somebody shows up like an asshole, don't think of it that way. Don't think of it that way. And let's just say for the sake of conversation, somebody you interacted happens to turn out to be an asshole. Who do you know yourself to be in that moment? Does that make you the asshole? No, it doesn't. But what do you believe about people? Are there just assholes out in the world? I know I believe that. I don't beat myself up if I run into one. See what I mean? To help? Did that answer what you were asking me? Why is that blocked? Hold on. Why would that question be blocked? Let me fix that. That makes no sense. Hold on. I don't know how I can make this okay. Wait. Check. There's one. I don't know why that was not approved. All right. Hold on. There was another one about Neville Goddard that looked like it was blocked, and I don't know why. Hold on. Dunstan Lily. I see your comment, and I don't know why it's... Can anybody else see his comment? Why does it look like it's hidden? It says no filtered comments, so I don't know why. Dunstan Lily, if you're watching this, for some reason on my end, it looks like your comment is hidden. And all you asked was, what are your thoughts on Neville Goddard? Which I don't know why that would be hidden. You guys can see it? Anybody who's not a mod? Okay, I don't understand why on my end it looks like it's hidden. My thoughts on Neville Goddard. I love Neville Goddard with every fiber of my meat sack. Love, love, love. Does that mean I think of Neville as frozen in time and whatever he said is the godly text of what I must follow? No. I believe Neville Goddard was a man evolving. If you were, and I have, so let me just preface this, and I have, if you read his full body of work, which means his books, his lectures, even his short-lived little TV show, if you were to read all of that, the transcripts, from chronological order, you would see the evidence of a very much evolving, rising in consciousness man. So like in the beginning, his books, his chit chat on, he coined that phrase, law of assumption, talking about, states of consciousness. Well, I don't want to take that away because he still talked about states later in life, but you'll see how he always talked about I am, your Christ consciousness, always, day one. Anybody who says differently, they're wrong. And I'm being all sassy about that because I've seen videos where people shit talk Neville Goddard and it fucking pisses me off, okay? Anybody who tells you, look at me, I get so defensive for Neville Goddard because I love him. That man changed my life, okay? He taught us about I am from day one. He did. And it only evolved if you read his in chronological order. Anybody who tells you that Neville Goddard didn't talk about I am is someone who probably read a fucking chapter out of one book. Okay? Don't let anybody talk shit about him. He was a wonderful man. Wonderful man. Okay? If you go, especially towards the end of his life, all he talked about was knowing yourself as source. That's it. Okay? Well, that's just law of assumption community. Well, law of assumption community really isn't no fucking different than the new phrase I am teachings, which let's just stop that silliness. It's all the fucking same. God, it just annoys me. It's all the same. Okay, we haven't discovered something new. The I am talk came long before 2025. Long before. It's not new. No one should talk shit about Neville Goddard. I love him. And I will come to his defense at every moment. Sorry. I get really passionate about Neville Goddard. I get very passionate. I've read all his work. Thanks to you. I love that you read all his work, Goddess. Then you can back up what I'm saying, can't you? What did he teach about the I am? Okay? Everything. Ugh. Oh my God. I saw a video the other day where I don't even know who this person is. So it's, kind of no shade to that person because I don't even know him. But they just made that comment like something about law of assumption being, it's Neville Goddard's words. Why are we just living our life that, by Neville Goddard's words? I don't recall Neville Goddard ever saying you have to follow whatever the fuck he says or else. I don't remember Neville Goddard holding guns to our heads, calling us fools if we didn't do what he told us to do. I don't recall that. I recall a man sharing his experiences, teaching what he knows, wanting to just help people change their lives. I don't view that as a man making anyone feel like if you don't do it his way, you're wrong. That wasn't Neville Goddard. There's no fucking way you could have read anything by Neville Goddard and gotten any other kind of energy from him. I'm sorry. I question. Ugh. Can I manifest my ex back even though I really hurt him? Yes, of course you can. What? I mean, I think it's really sweet that you're even thinking in that. The fact that you're sitting here feeling bad for hurting them, I think that says a lot about you, and in a good way. You obviously have feelings, right? You're not a total douche. You need to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself and know yourself to be the self that is forgiven. It's your focus on the feeling bad about it, focusing on whatever it is that happened. You're focusing on that is what's keeping that alive, per se. That's who you're knowing yourself as. So think about it as, without meaning to, in this moment, you're kind of saying to yourself, I am the version of self who doesn't think I can manifest my person back because I hurt him. I hurt him. That's who I am. I'm the me that hurt him. I'm the me that did this, transgression. That's who I am. That's who I know myself to be. That's kind of what you're saying. Is that going to be helpful? No. So you got to forgive yourself. And I don't know what your views on revision are, but they're always an option. I'm certainly not saying you have to revise. I mean, you really don't have to revise anything when you know yourself as source. But it is a tool that can self-soothe. Really, what are all techniques? They're just levels of self-soothing when you really, really think about it. I want to manifest one of my coworkers, but he is nonchalant. Any advice? So he's nonchalant. What does that mean to you? That must mean something to you because you took the time to spell that out to me. And I'm not picking on you. I know you put it in there because you want to let me know that this person is acting nonchalant. So it doesn't seem like they're interested in me. So can I still manifest that person? So what does it mean to you that he's nonchalant? Why would that fucking matter? So I'm only making you focus on that for this moment to see it's a story you keep telling. It's something you believe, which is like one of them sticky cobwebs that you keep dragging along with you. If someone acts nonchalant, that means they're not romantically interested in me. And so therefore that means what? to you. Do you see? Oh, that's who I am knowing myself to be in this now moment. It doesn't matter if you've never spoken to someone, you could still manifest them. See what I mean? It doesn't mean anything. Why do you think that there are people who have successfully manifested celebrities, people they didn't even know? People who lived on the other side of the world and they did it. Because it's all one consciousness. Doesn't matter where someone is, right? Again, coming back to none of this is logical. Right? Consciousness collapses time and space. And remember what time and space are. They're concessions, perceptions. They're experiences. But they're not absolute. Nothing is other than the absolute source. Shanerica? Is that your name? Shanerica? That is a pretty friggin' name. Am I saying it right? You're awesome. Thank you very much. So do you recommend flipping the thought to refocus back on the new story? I'm not a flipper thoughter. That's not me. And I tend not to suggest that, but let me just explain why. Thought flipping leads to exhaustion. Thought flipping leads to fear of our own thoughts. We're not our thoughts. We've been conditioned to believe that we are our thoughts, right? I bet before you even found conscious manifestation, you were someone that believed the thoughts that come in your mind are you. They're not. They're experiences, along with feelings and emotions. So, thought flipping, we would only really do that if A, we're afraid of the thought. We're afraid if that thought is there, it's going to manifest. If the thought doesn't make us feel good, we want to get rid of that thought. Where my style is, let the thought go. Just let the thought pass on by. It means nothing. You don't have to do anything with it. If you are someone that is just determined that you want to get the thought to go, I'm just going to say, fighting your thoughts is only going to lead to more of those thoughts coming at you. Because thoughts just come in, don't they? They just pop in. You don't have to do anything with them. There's a difference between letting the thought just float on by and choosing it. And what's the difference? Choosing it is when, think of a thought comes in and it stops you. It stops you. And you almost like think it twice. It stops you. And you replay it. And maybe you replay it again. And then those kind of thoughts start to follow. More and more and more of the same type of thought that takes you off on a journey of the worst case scenario, thanks to that one original thought that you chose to hop onto. See what I'm saying? If it would make you feel more comfortable to flip that thought, go ahead and do it. But understand why you're doing it. You're doing it to self-soothe. It's not because you have to do it in order to get it to not manifest. That's what I'm trying to say. And that's really all techniques are. Make sense? When you know who you are, you don't fight thoughts. You don't have to. You won't feel the need to. That doesn't mean that random shit thoughts won't come in. Of course they will. All different thoughts pop in all the time. But as you know yourself as source, you know that they don't matter. You know that they're not you. So they become meaningless. Does that make sense? How consistent should I be in order to feel the change? I know it depends still. All right, what's feel the change? What does that mean? What do you mean by that? What do you mean? What change are you hoping to feel? And why are we waiting for a feeling? Do you see how it's just another fucking story you're telling? I think that when I know that I'm the version of myself that I want to be, then I'm going to know that a good feeling is going to come over me. And when that good feeling is here, that's how I'm going to know that it's real and I'm really that person. Then I can feel safe and secure that I'm going to get my manifestation because I got the good feeling. Do you see? Story. Ego coming through the back door. You could feel like a total ass shit sandwich and still know who you are. The thoughts and the feelings don't matter. If they mattered, I would have nothing. See what I'm saying? We don't wait for a feeling. I mean, you can. It's your journey. It's your experience. But you don't have to. You can know it right now. And as far as the question, how consistent should I be? Consistent in what? Let's come back to the simple example I used of, do I have to consistently tell myself I have green eyes? Or do I just fucking know it? Do I have to consistently tell myself that I live with my boyfriend? Or do I just fucking know it? So the question, how consistent do I have to be, is telling me I don't believe I am who I say I am. I don't believe I'm source. I probably need to be more consistent. Because I more consistently believe I'm not. Right? I am versus I am not. I am not. More rules or boxes to tick off in order to feel comfortable that you're going to get your desire. And all of that is a fucking story. Do you see? Do you see how easy it is to get re-entangled in the cobwebs of beliefs, assumptions, stories, and they're all fucking made up. And they're all because of the ego. See? Do you see what I mean? You are welcome. Is it Christiana? You are welcome. Haley Smith, thank you so much. That was very nice. My ex blocked me on everything except my backup account on Instagram. Okay. Thank you for the gifts, the roses. Was that a kitty cat? That was so cute. Thank you. And I know you guys have been giving me likes and hearts and all that stuff. Thank you so much. If I haven't said thank you already, I really, really appreciate it. That is very nice of all of you. What does it mean to you to be blocked on everything except your backup account? What does that mean to you? What's that word? I always say it wrong. Catastrophizing? Catastrophizing? Did I say that right? Are you catastrophizing? Oh my God, my ex has blocked me on everything except for my backup account. So now that means I'm going to be alone for the rest of my fucking life. I'm never going to be with him again because he's blocked me on everything. Are you doing that? Is that what it means to you to be blocked? He's never going to talk to me ever again. Why? Why do you believe that? Again, I'm just making that part up. You are. At least you admit it. Listen, I prefer people who are honest and authentic. So I love that you admitted to it. Okay, now let's discuss why. Why are you doing that? You're going to have a because. Because why? A yeah, but. And that's okay. But I'm forcing you to look at that. Not forcing. I'm lovingly pushing you to look at that so that you can, it's kind of like turning around and realizing there isn't a shadow. Thank you very much, yo, for the goat. Thank you so much. Back to my friend Haley. I don't know. I got to be honest, Haley. Every time I clearly see the name Haley Smith, but every time I see Haley, I immediately think of Haley Bieber. And if you don't like her, no offense. I think she's beautiful. Okay, I just think she's a very pretty girl. But you know, any stories related to her, I don't get in on all that stuff. I'm just saying she's a pretty girl. Do you see how easy it is to be so entangled? So maybe you had an experience in the past where you got blocked by an ex, and maybe to this day you haven't talked to that ex ever again. I'm saying like an ex before this ex. So maybe that's why you're thinking, oh my God, I was blocked by this person and I still have not talked to or ever seen this person again. So now I'm afraid this is exactly what's happening here. I'm comparing. Or maybe you heard, oh, my tree just went off. Damn it. Hold on. I want to turn my tree back on. Okay. So, do you see how we attach stories and meanings to everything we experience? I was starting to say, maybe you had a friend of yours who got blocked and she never talked to her person ever again. So you've been conditioned to believe, well, that's what happens. When in fact, blocking doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean shit. You could be unblocked 2 minutes from now, as if it never happened. And quite frankly, you can decide right now that it's meaningless. It means nothing. You're not someone that gets blocked. You're not afraid of being blocked because it holds no meaning to you. And guess what's going to happen? You're going to get unblocked. And it's going to be as if it never happened. Because you think of it as when you know who you are, when you come into the now, the right now. So like you're here with me right now. We're here. Who are you right now? When you know yourself to be the who you want to be right now and don't let anything else tell you differently, you dissolve the entanglements. You dissolve the cobwebs, the stories, the sludge that we lug around. And watch your specific person completely change and change to be the reflection of a very confident version of you. When you don't let anything or anyone tell you that you're not who you say you are, it's a very powerful position to be, mentally and physically. Very powerful. So think of it as everything outside of you losing any strength, losing any hold on you. And that includes stories and attachments, cobwebs. They just start melting away. And reality kind of recalibrates itself to reflect you now. Ego will probably chirp. That's not fucking true. this is going to take forever. He's never going to unblock you. How do you know this is really going to work? What if it works for everybody but you? We don't care, ego. Immediately, you know it's the ego. When it's something like that, when it's thoughts like that, you immediately know it's just the ego. It's doing its job, but your God, your source, you created ego. And let's put this back into perspective. Ego is a man-made word, isn't it? Right? Just like we were talking about earlier, like if we were to cut open this meat sack and we were to look at the inside brain, there's no section that said that's where the ego is. Right? Now, there's nothing labeled up here. Man-made word. Who are you? When you come to the now, it erases everything. What's that Bible quote? Oh, God, there is a quote where, like your sins are red, but to me they're white as snow in the now. Well, why is that? Because when you're in the now, right now, here, now, that word, now, not a minute ago, not a minute from now, now. It's a clean slate. Do you see what I mean? We like walk along with, what are those, dry erase boards? We kind of walk around with a dry erase board that we drag along with us everywhere in life. And on that dry erase board is all of our history, all of our past experiences, all of our beliefs and assumptions. The now moment allows you to let go of the dry erase board. It gets wiped clean. You get to know yourself as source, as who you want to be right now. That becomes true now. But a moment from now, you can decide that it's not true and go back to your old thinking. And to fix it, you come back to now. The now moment. Because you don't believe you deserve anything better? What? No. He's been reading my Snapchat stories, so he's obviously not done. Exactly, Haley, but you didn't need that for evidence. You didn't need that to know that. Do you see what I mean? See what I mean, Haley? And what do you mean you don't know that you deserve better? Fuck that entirely. Do you know who the hell you are? When I just said that, it reminded me of that. Do you know where you are? You're in the jungle, baby. Okay, sorry. I'm getting tired, so me getting tired is me getting loopy. I know, that's just how I was raised. Well, that's the thing. That's you lugging around that dry erase board with all your beliefs, with who you assume to be. This is how I was raised. No, that's one out of the infinite versions of you. That's how one out of you was raised. But that doesn't have to be true for you anymore, because just come to the now. The now is the clean slate. Don't you see that every time we come into the now, we come to the present. I don't mean linear time present. I mean right now. In awareness, now. Can you imagine we were playing a drinking game and you had a drink every time I said the word now? You'd all be passed out drunk right now because I said now so many times. Okay, so, sorry. In this now moment, nothing about anything is true until you bring it back to yourself and attach it. Do you see what I mean? So how you were raised in childhood, that is something that you, probably without realizing it, are agreeing to every now moment. You're saying yes to that. That's how I was raised. That's my history. That's why I am the way I am, because of how I was raised. No, that's a story that you keep agreeing with over and over and over and over and over and over. But it doesn't have to be. What if you were raised to know that you are worthy and deserving of everything you fucking want? And you don't have to prove it to anybody else around you why you're worthy of what you want. You just know that you are. What if that's how you were raised? What if? What if you decided that was true for you now? That's who you are. What if you decided you're the woman who has it all? I have it all. Life has never been better. My normal is to just have whatever I want. And I can just know that. I can just decide that right now in this moment. That's who I am. And nobody else can tell me differently. This is who I am because I say so. Do you know that you can do that? Do you know that that's an option? Because it is. I hope they're happy tears if you're crying. Yeah, Rachel, we should play that game. Remind me tomorrow morning why I'm tired. That I was here live this late. What do I think about sleep? What is it? Sleeping affirmation videos? That's what I think about them. They're not for me. Could they work for you? Sure. Any technique can work. Do you need a technique to know yourself as source? No. You don't need them. Can they be helpful? Absolutely. So do yourself a favor. If you're going to use them, decide right now that they work effortlessly for you. That they make it so easy for you to know yourself as the self you want to be right now. Decide that. And honestly, that's my response to any technique. But that doesn't mean techniques are bad. Doesn't mean I don't like all techniques. When you know who you are, you don't need a technique to tell you who you are. You just know. But if you need a technique right now, that doesn't mean that you're a shitty manifester. That doesn't mean that you're not as advanced as everybody else. That doesn't mean any of that. It just means this is your path. This is your way. This is how you're evolving, and that's okay. How to manifest good health. Who are you right now in this moment? How would you describe yourself? How would you fill in the blanks? What is your health right now? What do you know and accept to be true of yourself right now? I was told that SP being firm in his rejection and him being moved on and at peace is information. Does this create a block? No. Nothing can create a block for you. Nothing and no one. So because your SP is being firm in his rejection and him being moved on and at peace, that is, if all of that, let's just say, for example, if all of that is true, like you experienced your SP saying all those things to you, does that have to mean that you have a current block? No, it doesn't. it means you experience this. But it really is meaningless. It's what meaning are you giving it that matters.
Love you.
Love you. Be careful. Text me when you get there, okay?
I got tread now.
I know, but still, don't drive like a jerk. Love you. I mean it though. Text me when you get there. I know. Okay. Sorry. That's my boyfriend leaving. Aw. Yeah, I mean, we do love each other, you know what I mean? Haley Smith, I'm loving you. You go ahead and keep saying nice things to me. I'm loving it. Do you have to know exactly what you want? If I was to say yes to that would imply a rule, wouldn't it? So I'm not going to say yes to that because there are no rules. From my experience, can it be more helpful to know exactly what you want? Well, yeah. But I'm only saying that based on who I am. And I just find it easier to know what I want and to be specific about it. But I don't feel limited by it. Right? I'm not limited by it. I just have the perception that it's easier to be clear. But I'm aware that I'm source, and I'm assuming you do too. So when you say, how do I know exactly? I don't know exactly what I want. Like, what subject area do you not know exactly what you want in? See what I'm saying? Like, define that. How do you know you want something different if there isn't already another idea in your mind? Or are you like what I would define as, say, like laid back? Like, I know I want a new couch, but I don't know what fucking color I want. I just want a new couch. That's, to me, the definition of not knowing exactly what I want. See what I mean? Where to live. Okay. So in one respect, I'm going to say no. Doesn't matter. I mean, meaning it's okay that you don't know exactly where you want to live. But my piece of advice would be, but then I would not judge reality and have the perception that nothing's, and by the way, you didn't say this, so I'm not saying that you complained that nothing was changing. I'm not saying you said that. I'm just giving a piece of advice for the future, even though all time is now. When you're moving along and moving and grooving in life, that you're not judging reality as not changing, you know, nothing's changing, nothing's working, blah, 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 blah. Because how do you know nothing is? You're not sure exactly what you want. So I wouldn't label reality as not changing, ever. Because how would you know? Because if you're not clear on what you want, what are you comparing it to? See what I mean? So don't get yourself all entangled with that. Even though you did not say anything like that at all. Is it true you can manifest change of appearance? 100% yes. 100%. Literally. What do you think about people and the time frames saying it can take months and years? I would say that whatever person is saying that is speaking on their own limited beliefs. That's what I think. And I would guess that that person believes in an unfolding. Now, again, I am someone that used to make content talking about the unfolding. So I'm not judging anybody else talking about the unfolding. That's kind of what I'm saying, because I used to think of it. I used to think of reality that way, that you're always experiencing the unfolding. But how can you really believe you're experiencing an unfolding if at the same time you are aware of your source and you're in the now? How can there be an unfolding if you're in the now? And reality is the fulfillment of the now. How can you believe that and then go on to say there's an unfolding? That just no longer makes sense to me. So I don't think there's an unfolding. And I know that's gonna annoy some people, and I'm not trying to annoy you. I'm just saying think bigger for a minute. So do I think manifestations have to take months and years? Fuck no. No, I don't. Do I know people that took a year, took a few months, took a few weeks? Yep. But if we were to dissect their whole experience, if we were to dissect it, do I think that we would find that who they knew themselves to be in the now moment, reality always was the reflection of who they actually believed they were? I think we would find that. That's my opinion. If I look at my own life, has reality always been the reflection of who I believed I was in the now moment? Yeah, and I can't say that it's not. See what I'm saying? And that can be good or bad. That can include parts of my journey where my reality was nothing like I wanted it, but it was a reflection of who I really knew myself to be in the moment. Do you see what I'm trying to say? So, no, I don't think things have to take months and years. I don't at all. On the same token, for anybody to say if something hasn't manifested by such and such date, then you're doing something wrong, I also think that person is wrong. See what I mean? That is another person putting their own personal limits onto your manifestation, and they can't do that, right? They're God from their perspective and their reality, not the God of yours. Does that make sense? They're always like, keep persisting. It can be months or years. If you have it now, time don't matter. If you have it now, time don't matter. I'm trying to think of what they're trying to say to you. It could take months or years. If you actually have it now, time doesn't matter. Okay, I think whoever you're hearing say that, I think what they're trying to say, that if you knew you already had whatever it is you're manifesting, you wouldn't be looking out at reality and questioning where it was. I think that's what they're trying to say. Obviously, I don't know that for sure, but I am assuming that. So let's put that into perspective. I know I keep using my green eyes example, but I got to think of something else to make it make more sense. Have you ever experienced wanting something, but at the same time you just stopped fucking worrying about it and you just moved on with life? You didn't beat yourself up for it. You didn't keep questioning where it was. And it did end up showing up. Have you ever had that experience? And it doesn't have to be in the SP category. It doesn't have to be in the money. It can be any category. Have you ever had that experience where you weren't walking around continuously telling yourself that it's not here yet, nothing's changing, blah, 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 and then it showed up? So, do you agree that if you knew yourself to be who you wanted to be, that it wouldn't make sense? And again, we're talking only logical sense here. That it doesn't make sense that if you really know that, it wouldn't make sense for you to look out at reality and say, it's not here. I don't see it. Because that would be you coming into a, we'll say, like a different now moment. It's not really a different, but you see what I mean. You would be knowing yourself to be different. You would be knowing yourself as I am not. So how in one sentence can you say, I am, I'm going to use like an SP manifestation. I am the version of self in a loving, fulfilling, committed relationship. That's who I am. Then would it make sense in the next moment to then look out at your life, at reality, and say, but I don't see it yet. But he's not here yet. Do you see how that's agreeing in the now moment to be someone totally different? So, in my opinion, that's the fucking paradox of manifestation. Is understanding the now. That right now as you're sitting here, you're actually deciding who you are, and reality is actually fulfilling it. So therefore, the worry about where it is, the questioning where it is, would not come into your mind. It would, no, reword. It would not grab your attention. It wouldn't be noticeable. And I know that sounds frustrating. And I know it's frustrating because in my own past, I remember thinking that way. I remember thinking, okay, this is who I'm embodying. This is the state I'm embodying. But I know I don't see it. I don't see it in front of me though. I know it. And I would get kind of caught in what felt like a tumbling exercise in my mind. I know who I'm embodying, but I know that I'm aware that I don't see it. How do I stop the rolling around with those two different perspectives? From my experience, it was I stopped tumbling. I stopped fighting with the awareness of I don't see it. I stopped saying that. I stopped agreeing with that. I stopped trying to figure out how to not think like that anymore. Do you see what I'm saying? I stopped making being aware of my specific person not sitting next to me as proof or evidence that I'm not who I say I am. Does that make sense? So I stopped somersaulting around on the floor with the two different versions of myself, the two different, let's say, fulfilled realities. Because it's like having a leg in one, right, and a leg in another. I got my leg out of the other reality and didn't allow anything around me to tell me differently. So even my own awareness that SP hadn't manifested or SP wasn't sitting next to me, I stopped letting that hold the meaning. So therefore, I'm not this version of myself. I stopped allowing that. I stopped fighting with that thought. Does that help? And if you were just saying, just in case, if you were going to ask, well, how did you just stop fighting it? I stopped fighting. I stopped mentally arguing and trying to wrestle with that thought. I stopped trying to find the path or the logical reason or the logical, realistic way to stop fighting with that thought. I stopped trying to figure out logically how to make sense of I'm trying to be aware of being the self in a relationship while being aware that it's not here. I stopped fighting with that altogether. Does that make sense? I gave up trying to make logical sense of that. And I decided, fuck it. Fuck it. This is who I am. That's it. I'm not fighting with thoughts. I'm not arguing with my mind. I am not going to, have the tango with my ego. I'm not going to spend any more time convincing my ego that I am who I am. So I would ask myself, do I agree that this is who I am? I am that I am, right? I am the version of myself in a loving, fulfilling, committed relationship. Do I agree with that? Yes, I accept that. That is who I am. Do I know that now? Yes, I do. So then why have I been allowing anything other than that knowing to tell me differently? And for me, it was like the ding dong light bulb moment. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why I've been letting myself get entangled with that. I don't know why I keep arguing with that. I have to know, or I have to accept that I can be aware of 3D reality. I can be aware of who's sitting next to me or who's not sitting next to me. I can be aware of that, but that does not change who I am. So I would have sat here and said, it just doesn't make sense to me how I can know I am this version of myself. But at the same time, I very much know he's not here. We're not together. And that's where the ding dong went off. Like, no, I'm the one sitting here saying, yeah, but I know I'm this version of myself. I know that's who I am, but he's not here. I'm deciding he's not here. I'm agreeing with that. I'm letting that mean that's who I am. Do you see how it's just the battle of wit between yourself, your awareness, and ego? Do you see? So you stop the dance. You stop trying to prove it logically with your ego. No one ever told us we had to convince the ego. We just want to convince the ego to feel better. It's self-soothing, and it's unnecessary self-soothing. Do you see it? Think of it as you're still looking for your shadow. When we're doing that, when we're trying to convince ourselves, okay, I know I'm this self, but I still know that I'm not. No, you're still searching for your shadow around you. You're it. Nothing out here. You're it. Does that make sense? So then that's what you're going to stop battling with, Haley. You see? Does that make sense? So you stopped arguing mentally about what you visualized. Silenced the ego. In one respect, I would say yes, but at the other respect, I wasn't consciously silencing the ego. I was no longer engaging. That make sense? It was still there. Thought was still there. I just knew, or I could say, I just accepted I didn't have to battle it anymore. I don't have to convince my ego. I don't have to make the ego feel comfortable for me to have the life I want. And if you really, really think about it, isn't that what techniques are doing for you? They're soothing the ego. so that the ego can relax. But yet, what we're all told in the beginning, no, it's you impressing your subconscious mind. That's what you're really doing. You're impressing the subconscious mind. And then someday, in some future moment, your ego's finally going to agree with you and everything's going to be okay. And then it's going to show up in your reality. That's what we're told. That's all bullshit. Do you see that? Happy holidays to you too, eh? When you lived in the now, you pretended to be living a different reality with SP in the physical. No, but yet I can see what you're saying. I don't know how else to explain it other than I didn't feel like I was pretending anything. Does that make sense? I wasn't pretending. I know what I think. I believe I am aware of what you're saying. But it was not pretending. I don't know how else to explain that. I'm trying to think of a better. I think for me, because my little light bulb went off, I think that's why I knew I wasn't pretending that I was this version of myself. I knew myself to be this version of myself. Do you see what I mean? Because let me say this, if we're at the place where we think we have to pretend, then we're still aware of being somewhere else. And that sounds like acting as if to me. We don't have to do that. And I know that there's some people out there who believe they have to, but you don't have to. Yes, it's just soothing, but at the end of the day, it ends with you. Always. Everything. Yes. Maybe not pretending, but knowing you are who you say you are no matter what, because you are that I am. Yes. Yes. Us not needing to believe our affirmations for it to manifest has been helping my neurodivergence. I am very happy to hear that it is helping you. And listen, my friend, I'm neurodivergent. And I think that has only been a blessing to me, but that's what I'm aware of. Can you see my messages about coaching? I see this message, but I'm not going to lie. There's so many messages going by that this is the first one I'm seeing of yours. And if you're wondering about how to work with me, you can email me or go to one of my YouTube channels. One of my YouTube channel. Any video has information in the Dropbox below to work with me. Avid fan here from the Philippines. You have been very helpful to me in many, many ways. Well, that makes me feel very happy. Thank you very much for being here. What's the definition of neurodivergent? There's multiple definitions. Meaning that, I mean, there's so many different mixes that can be explained as neurodivergence. I'm ADHD. I'm a little neurospicy. I prefer to call it that. But that's also part of the identity too, isn't it? Just saying. Any label that we accept for ourselves is an option, even though I know it doesn't always feel like an option, but it's an option. Even being neurospicy. And that is not a judgment. I still walk around with the label. I don't love labels, but it doesn't bother me enough to drop the label. Get what I'm saying? But we don't have to think that they limit us. Ever. The one thing I question is if ADHD prescribed meds affects my manifestation. Well, listen, I'm going to tell you right now. You know and accept right now that they don't. That they are not affecting it. Or at least negatively affecting it. Word like that. Your source. Not your ADHD. Not your ADHD meds. You. You are. Nothing else outside of you is. Everything, including the meds, the label, everything else is a layer of ignorance. And I don't mean ignorance in a negative way. I mean, it's all labels. They're all layers of belief. It's all, everything is. So nothing can inhibit, affect negatively anything about you without permission from you, because you're source. So you decide right now that no negative effects, only positive. That's what I would do if I were you. I like that. My meds amplify my magnetic field. That's the attitude. I like that. All right, my friends, it's 11:49. This girl's got to go to bed. I got to get up early. I'm doing a channel membership in the morning. If you want to join us in the morning, come over and join the Hot Seat channel membership and my YouTube, and you can come live with us on the Zoom in the morning. But if any of my hot seaters are here, I'll see you at 9:30 a.m.-ish Eastern Standard Time in the morning. I love you all. Thank you very much for being here with me in my late night I couldn't sleep live stream. I had fun tonight. I hope you had an amazing holiday. We have another holiday coming up, so I'm sure I'll see you all before that happens. I love you all. I'll see you all, hot seaters. I'll see you in the morning. Have a good night.